Hello and good morning. Having a little bit of a cash morning this morning. So, depending on what time of day you're in, what part of the world you're listening to this, it may be the afternoon, it may be the evening. For me, it's just going into a meditation for my morning routine, my morning rituals. And today came up as being an opportunity to share a meditation that is extremely beautiful and just as all meditations are, I believe. But it's got the theme of the color blue and how that represents itself in us, in our world, in our frequencies, and color has representation in our lives. It's fascinating. So to begin to explore the color blue would be an understanding to how the development of the human eye. So majority of humans have the capability of seeing color, seeing different color, and those that don't, they still see variations, their own variations of different shades, and it's fascinating, truly, when you get into the concept of the human eye and how it develops itself, how it begins to create and the evolution of the human eye. Is said that blue is one of the last colors that our eye was able to pick up, and it also happens to be that color that represents ourselves, or that allows us to attune ourselves to higher frequency, to source, to inner knowledge, to inner self. All of these components of just that I feel that next level, that next piece, that I also feel we are all in one way or another searching for, and this is kind of the proverbial doorway. It's also very interesting too that blue is considered one of the primary colors, so it's kind of that foundation that really allows us to create beauty, to create with color. And there's a lot to be said around the mystics and how much they revered and across cultures, across painters, really well-known painters. Blue is just it's symbolized by so much. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to go into our meditation for today. The first, I think, most important aspect of um, kind of the initiation of blue is that it kind of works on our subtle senses, and the subtle senses being what it, again, I kind of said this earlier, but what brings us closer to source, what brings us closer to our inner knowing, to that space within us that just can feel and trust and has faith in oneself and faith in how the world is working, and really truly begins to create I feel it's a space of creation of the I am. Now, some may feel that the I am is a mind piece, yet I slightly disagree with that concept. The I am isn't placing anything heavy, isn't placing anything concrete. It is, I am, and that I am the way towards the truth. I am the truth, and the truth shall set you free. These are elements of like a deep, I want to say, deep feeling of being human, is being able to be in this realm, in this space, when we're in co-creation mode, meaning that we are actively taking care of the self, actively working on the mental, the emotional, the physical, beginning to find this beautiful balance, which is so truly challenging to attain, and then to hold. And ultimately there will be, and this is part of the process, by the way, so not making it bad, but making it just what is, that there will be challenges. There will be things that will veer you off course, that will veer you away from where you want to be going. And I think blue can be a representation of really, okay, here I am, and this is bringing me back to myself. This is bringing me back to my truth, so that I can feel the motivation, the stability, the trust to continue through this hard time or through this struggle, whatever it may be. And it's interesting to say that color could really change your emotional mental state. I have seen it, and even just in this, I'm kind of creating this meditation this morning, but at the same time, um, having meditations that are based on a color, there's a connection there that I can't quite explain, and I don't really want to. Having magic, having curiosity, having things not being able, excuse me, not being able to be explained, I think is the joy of living in this world. We're not supposed to know everything. We're supposed to want to, I guess. There's this deep need inside, curiosity beyond. Yet we're not supposed to. It's okay that we don't know everything, and maybe we'll know a lot in one subject, and that's pretty cool. That could take a whole lifetime for sure. But yet maybe we're just not supposed to. And I think there's a certain trust there that goes hand in hand with this meditation. So when it comes to really feeling the emotional aspects of the color blue, it draws our attention to um, sometimes the controversy around like how can I say this? Excuse me. Hmm, there it goes. Around there's this dynamic of like the father mother energy within both of us. Father can be described to some as like the God source, mother can be described to some as like Mother Mary or some type of mothering uh, deity. And really this there's a little bit of a pull. There doesn't need to be, but there does tend to be a little bit of a pull there, a little bit of almost a power struggle. And I find that blue kind of brings this attention to both. It gives them um, equal. Like there's this drawing of an image I saw recently of this intertwining of, it was the masculine and feminine, which I think has a representation here as well. But it has this beautiful marriage between um, these supportive colors of blue that were intertwined within each other, representing the masculine and feminine, and how just a subtle shift, you can kind of almost see. It's hard to visualize, and excuse me for just coming for a ride on in my mind of my interpretation of this image. But it was so beautiful to see the entwining of the masculine and feminine just by shifts and changes in the texture and color of the color blue. So it was really like a blue portrait, but yet there was this constant co-creation occurring within the blue. And and um and it just became very relevant to me and very, very dominant, that that's a representation to how there's sometimes this inner struggle of the masculine, feminine, the mother, the father, these what could be considered very, very big archetypes, but yet that they need each other. There's a balance between, and they really do the co-creation. If you're truly wanting to manifest, to bring something forward in your life, you want to have both elements. You want to be working with both elements simultaneously and learning how to do that. And the color blue, I think, has that in spades. It brings both the mother energy and the father energy into, and really helps to propel um, creation from that space. It's the color associated with problems and tendencies of literally coughing things out, but um, our throat chakra, right? It's our throat chakra color. And when that's in alignment, or when it's misaligned, or when there's something that needs to be spoken, but it's getting literally stuck in your throat, like a frog in your throat, like it's interesting. By the way, I'm a big fan of metaphors, and so like having a frog stuck in your throat. That representation is that there's something from your heart space wanting to come forward and be spoken. It needs to come forward and be spoken, and sometimes we have the fear and the judgment and everything that'll get kind of stuck in our throat chakra. So the frog representing the green, the color green, bringing itself up into our throat and it's getting stuck there. So again, just these metaphors and the way that humans have languaged things over the millennia is fascinating. So communicating again, and it needs communication needs our true trust and to make sure that we are crystal clear on our purpose, on our true purpose, and there, you can have a purpose that can be a little bit tunnel visioned, and then you can have a purpose that really expands beyond oneself and really takes in not necessarily the whole world, but it really takes in factors beyond oneself to really bring in a divine, a true, a not that having a purpose that is very linear is by any stretch of the imagination a bad thing. But when we start to really expand our purpose and really envelop what potential and what power we have, mm, just it just keeps going. There's sky's the limit, so to speak. So a few imbalances when this throat chakra can be locked is things like thyroid imbalance. So if you've ever come across these, it would be a fascinating discussion with your own physical body to see, how does this part of my body develop? How does this feel for me on a daily basis? Is it the muscles in the neck? Am I the thyroid imbalance, sore throat, asthma, bronchitis, tonsillitis, like these, even things in the mouth and around through the neck? They can have a direct connection to how our throat chakra is feeling. And even myself, there is a little bit of something here, part of why I'm just taking it easy this morning. No bright lights, going to be giving myself some time to connect to this. And also, I think why I was being drawn to this meditation, it's needed. So as you begin to go through and witness some of those physical attributes, just connecting to that space, and that's an important and valuable piece before we go into the meditation, because we want to bring awareness to this area. You might notice that I'm kind of touching and kind of making contact with it and recognizing where it's at. Now, the purpose of this chakra, when it's in balance, is we talked about, it's opening you up to faith, and it's opening you up to this acceptance of source, acceptance beyond oneself. So even just that purpose that we were talking about, going from kind of individualized purpose to expanded purpose, can be along the same lines as well. When you have difficulty seeing the beauty in things, when you have a difficulty seeing and connecting to people, to places, to beauty around you, truly the people in your life are beautiful, and you fall in love with them and have the opportunity to fall in love with them every single time you meet, or every single time you are in their presence, and hopefully, vice versa, it goes full circle. um, the color blue could be so strong, and yet when you have a good representation, I think it just really brings in this faith within your world. Doesn't mean, and it can mean faith within a religion or a source, a connection of sorts. For me, though, I tend to keep things much more. I'm an airy person in general, and so I tend to keep things in a much more open manner, meaning that faith to me is just truly believing without having to know everything. Yes, there's the beautifulness of science and scientific mind logic, absolutely. Yet to just have a rock solid faith in self, in a powerful community, in, you know, to be able to verbally express your truth without feeling or without taking on even others' judgment or others' expectations, or just having faith that it's going to land where it needs to land. I think that's important, and that's a big representation of not only the blue chakra, the color blue, but also the blue meditation that we're going to be coming into. Is just going to be a lot about trust and faith, and the mirroring or the hidden problematic areas within some of the blue aspects could be considered kind of an almost a piece of, I want to call it like self-importance. So when there's an imbalance there, there can be like an unfaithfulness and not trustworthy, or not trusting others when you have no reason, and really kind of becoming almost cold and aloof, and even disconnected from life, can be, again, those signs that sometimes there needs to be some chakra balancing in some way or another. Um, what else? Hmm. I think it would be a beautiful thing that just before we go into our meditation, we just talk about the mental aspect. So when our mental aspect is really embodying the color blue, it encourages a willingness. Willingness is a way of being able to, like, strong respect and strong support for what is, not trying to make something different or not trying to force something to be something it's not. So willingness to lean into what is, and a willingness to just accept. Again, it kind of comes all under the same components of trust, but the mental aspect is this concept of willingness positions itself in a state of authority, and yet also doesn't try to become a domitarian. It doesn't try to force others to be or to bend to its will. It just is, and it just has a willingness to share or a willingness to be. And yeah, I think that could be something that we all need a little reminder as we speak our truth, as we speak with compassion, we speak with love. Hopefully, that truth comes forward in our words, and this meditation will help to make that clear in one form or another. So enjoy. So to begin with, we're just going to activate the hands. And of course, we're kind of connecting to our throat. So if you've kind of been listening and relaxing, that's beautiful. I love that. That's preparing you for this meditation. As you activate your hands, we're just going to slowly bring some touch into the throat, the jaw, around and into the neck, and maybe even into the upper chest. That's just depending on if you're feeling any tension. Again, a lot of the time when we're balancing out our chakras, whatever the case, whatever, and wherever we happen to be kind of attuning ourselves to, it's usually quite important to represent that our chakras kind of above and below will also be getting the vibration, getting the attention, so to speak. So if you're feeling something in the heart space, or you're feeling something in that third eye or the upper forehead, also connecting to that as well, because they are truly all connected. As you're beginning to make and work with one, you're ultimately working with all, which, how productive. I love those elements. Mm. Just taking another minute here just to really relax and attune yourself to that throat, allowing yourself to get deeper and deeper into relaxation, opening up to a space, a creation component within this time, within this world, this 3D world, this beautiful, incredible co-creation that we are in at this moment. And I say the beautiful, the elements of learning to love the struggle, I think has a big part to do with where we're at and what we're going to be focusing on in our blue meditation. Acceptance for what is, and having the opportunity and the self acceptance, the self permission to speak our truth as needed, and to just know, to have this true trust and faith in ourselves. And we sink deeper, deeper into the meditation and lighter into our expectation. So going into a calm, relaxed state within the physical body and simultaneously allowing the mental body to become lighter. We become lighter and lighter. And that mental body begins to release any of the heaviness, any of the expectations. They fall to the floor as that mental space begins to lift higher and higher. And our physical body gets more and more solid, more and more relaxed. Now, as we get more and more relaxed in the body, bring our attention to the mind, to the astral body, to that space within that is able to go distances. It's able to learn and create and explore beyond where our physical body can go. When we attune ourselves, when we open the permission for that mental to take a rest, but then for our astral body to get lighter and lighter, freer and freer. And as you're relaxed in your physical, I want you to visualize what that astral body would feel like as it slowly begins to come out from beyond the physical and it begins to lift its arm. And again, it's a visualization of that astral body just slowly lifting, creating some space between the physical form and the astral body, realizing that it has the opportunity to go beyond and to explore beyond itself. We're just going to begin to allow the other arm to come up and out of the physical form. That physical form that is relaxed and safe. And then that astral body just begins to feel comfortable sitting up and out of the physical body. Maybe it feels comfortable to go back down. Remember, you have that opportunity at any time. But then we're going to sit back up and we're going to stand up within that astral body. And we're going to slowly lift above where our physical body is. We're going to allow that astral body to explore beyond where we are. And we're going to lift up and into the skies. We're going to lift up and into the heavens. And we're going to go up. We get lighter and lighter and freer and freer. And as we go up and up, we're going to bring our astral body to a utopia state, to a utopia place. And I want you to create that in your mind's eye, and then we're going to bring it into reality. So the very first thing is, what does utopia mean for you? There is going to be a water element. So I want you to begin to describe and paint the picture of different shades and colors of blue within a body of water. It could be a soft and still body of water, possibly a lake or a creek or a pond, I should say. Or it can be more of a moving body of water, which would in that case be a creek or a stream, or possibly a little bit more turbulent water that has a majestic sound to it, like a waterfall or a babbling brook. And these are all options. We're drawing the astral body and we're painting a picture for it to explore. Maybe you want to go a little more expansive and you choose to create a body, a large body of water that could be represented as the sea or the ocean. And as you begin to paint that body of water, whatever comes to you, whatever feels solid and strong and true, I want you to invite your astral body to explore this painting, this visual that you have created. And the astral body brings itself into this image, into this beautiful imagery. And it begins to set itself down and begins to explore. So that astral body goes to the water. What does it feel as it places its hands or its body, its entire being in the water? You choose what that astral body chooses to explore. Allow, allow, allow. Making sure not to make anything right or wrong or bad or good. It's a true and utter feeling of allowance. There is no right or wrong. That astral body has the ability to do or create or play with any part of the scene that it's in. And you can continue to paint the picture and paint and get as detailed and deep into that visualization as you choose to go. Sometimes our physical body needs some grounding. So if you find that your physical body is calling your astral back, just remember to breathe and let the astral stay free and light. You get lighter and lighter, freer and freer. And remind the physical body it's safe and it's secure. And allow it to breathe and relax. Now, as we set the scene for our astral body to explore, I want you to begin to bring in different shades of blue, different color sources. It can be represented in the water. It can be represented in the fauna, flora that is around you. It can be represented in the skies and the heavens above you. But I want you to begin to bring in different colors of blue. And see and ask the question, be curious of what those colors of blue represent for you. And as you continue to create and explore and have curiosity around the colors, maybe creating more and more as you go, I want you just to take a few breaths and truly marvel at the beauty and the visuals that you've brought into being. And then we're going to infuse it with some bodily elemental components. So as you go into and you're in your visual, I want you to just bring in a brisk and gentle warm breeze. And then I want you to bring in an earth element, a solidity and calming structured space, sand, gravel, clay, black earth. then I want you to bring some heat, a source of fire or a source of heat within your creation. Last but not least, that spark of the moonlight or spark of the sunlight, and beautiful connection between the two, the sun and moon, bringing that joy, that spark of creation into and creating it into this realm. Visualizing, and again, whatever feels drawn to you, whether it's night and you've seen a moon, quarter moon, new moon, a full moon, or maybe you're choosing the sunlight with it's coming down, you can feel its radiance shining itself over your visual, over your beautiful utopia world. And if it feels right for you as well, remember there is no right or wrong, it's just a feeling. Perhaps you want to bring both into your imagery, having a sun, having a moon, dancing and co-creating together. Now, as you've created this creation within, I want you just to slowly begin to bring some, it's a gentle tug. You're tugging it downward and you're solidifying. It can be a gentle tying of the picture towards something that is solid. For myself, I tend to represent solidity, being Mother Earth. She is my connection. And so my general guidance has always allowed me to bring my visual, bring that visualization, and I gently just tie her down to the earth element. Again, if something feels more stabilizing to you, please go with your intuitive, go with your truth. And you're just slowly allowing this imagery to sink and get deeper into this creative force that we presently live in. And you're just going to gently tie it to something of solidness, holding it there. For it is truly never gone. It is always within you. This space, this time, this feeling. And this utopia space is here for you anytime that you're feeling discouraged or feeling like you need courage. You're needing courage to speak your truth, to be able to do something that is out of your comfort zone. These are all places that can come up, and this creation, this beautiful manifestation, has the opportunity to hold you safe, give you the strength you need to move forward. If you just take a moment or two in this divine utopia space, it gives you and creates for you. You breathe life into it, and it breathes life into you. You feel energized, empowered, and crystal clear on what the next steps will be for you. Crystal clear and in line with your purpose. All the beautiful merging of blues within that visual come down, and they sink into and begin to transform into your physical being. They begin to merge themselves with that physical, and that astral body once more connects to the physical. You give it the time, you give it the space it needs to really sink in and feel now that solidity, that groundingness of our physical. Truly doing so much. We want to thank that physical for giving us the opportunity to explore. Thank the physical for being safe and for being where it is and how it's being in this moment. Very rarely, I think, do we give enough gratitude to our physical being for everything that it does for us. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. When you feel ready to do so, you can activate the hands, or you can just slowly begin to move the body little bit by little bit. So thank you so much for joining today. You can continue on with this meditation if you have more time. Ooh. It's working already for myself, allowing and again, really releasing that state and staying in the state or releasing the state, depending on where you're at. Yeah, thank you for taking that journey with me. Enjoy your day.